Welcome back to another episode of Ask the Techies. I'm D.Lee Beard. I'm going to continue talking with you about Google Earth. And what I want to show you today is how you can go on a virtual field trip and view stuff in 3 dimensions, 3D. Let me show you how. So you launch your Google Earth application, you come over here and there's a 3D buildings layer, and if you turn that on, it changes this normal, ordinary aerial map, which doesn't tell you how tall a building is, to something that's a bit more interesting. Now, I turned that on. You may not see anything right away, but as you zoom in and change your tilt, I talked about that in my previous video. Let's kind of pan over here. Now, we get a much different look. Here's one of the buildings that I actually created in Google Earth, and it shows up in the 3D layers, and this is the part of the East Campus of James Madison University. I created this, and I also created the East Campus Library, which was a parking lot on their default map, so it's a lot more helpful to be able to view that. If you have this turned off, here's what you get. You get this. You get this, which doesn't tell you a whole lot about it. You turn on the 3D buildings layer, and you get a much more interesting view. Not only that, if you come over here and you click on your little guy, your little map guy, you can come down here to ground view. And then you can use your arrow keys on your keyboard, and basically you get the same view that you would if you were walking by this building and going to walk into here even. I even did the detail in here so you can kind of get an idea of what this looks like. It's sort of a loading dock. Not the most attractive part of the building, but you do get an idea of what it's like to walk along the sidewalk here and see the rest of the campus. So you see these other 3D buildings over here. I click exit ground view. There you go. So this gives you a lot better way to do it. Now maybe if you wanted to visit a campus, that's a great way to do it, to see, you know, what is the campus really like. And sometimes people have even added a few bonus features, such as over here, where you've actually got trees. So you really get an idea for what this part looks like. Let me change the view here just a little bit and change the tilt. So you get an idea of, you know, the greenery that's on the campus, and that's very nice. I did not create these buildings. These were done by Steve Anderson at James Madison University and his students, his many students that did a lot of work to create this. But where it can really become kind of cool is if you've never visited a huge building, the tallest building in the world, the Sears Tower. You can go to Chicago, Illinois, up here in your search box. And it's going to fly you in. Then we can zoom in. And you wonder where it is? Well, from the aerial map, it'd be kind of hard to tell exactly where it is located. But here, with the 3D layers turned on, you can actually just look. If you know what the building looks like, there's the John Hancock Tower. Okay. And where's the Sears Tower? We just got to look for it, that's all. Da, 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 da. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. There you go. There's one of the tallest buildings in the world. It was the tallest building for a while. Oops. Let me zoom out. I think I'm zoomed in just a little bit too much. There we go. There's the Sears Tower. And if you're not sure, you tap on it. Ta-da! Sears Tower. It tells you right there, and there's sometimes information on the buildings there. And you want to check out, what's this other one over here? This is the Standard Oil Building, at least it used to be. Oh, it's Aon Center, so that's changed since what it used to be. Let's see if I'm right. Was that the John Hancock Building? Yes, John Hancock Center. Sorry. There you go. So you can get in there. You can actually go all the way in and zoom to a street level view. Let's just click our little guy and drag him down here on the street. There we go. Now we have a street view. Now in street view, you can, close out. Gives me a nice little tip there about how to navigate. You can just rotate around and take a look at what you've got. So it's like you're practically there. So if you aren't sure about the hotel where you're going to, what it's going to look like as you approach it, this is a way to do it. Now you move the arrows forward. It basically, keeps giving it to you. It sometimes distorts the image, which makes it a little hard to be able to tell. But there's a choice up here I wanted to point out to you. There's the person. That's the street view. But this is the building. This is the 3D buildings view. So it gives you, without all this other noise, construction, which could be dated from 5 years ago, which it won't even affect you. But if you click on that, you get this view. And this view, you can, of course, change your view, tilt, look upward, and you can rotate around and just look up and awe at the size of these buildings. Now, some of them are a little blurry because it takes a little while for it to render, because it's having to render images that are overlaid over every one of these. And as you fly through, there you go. And so it's like going down the street. You get an idea of what it's going to look like. One other thing I want to show you is like a great place, and they've added more cities to this, but in San Francisco, yes, I'm in San Francisco, California. Forgot the A. In San Francisco, they've actually started adding trees in, which is really fascinating, because while we had trees on the James Madison University campus, they weren't necessarily specific trees that were quite as detailed, but they started adding them in bulk into cities. So if you come over here and you start to zoom way in, let's change our tilt a little bit, we're actually getting trees. And they're actually trying to put it in pretty close to what the tree actually is. And there you go. So they have really nice trees right here. I'm just going to rotate around so you can get an idea. Kind of walk through the park, get an idea for the types of trees. And they're trying to tag them properly so you get an idea for the types of trees. Now, if you don't like the trees, you can turn those off, and then you get an idea for there's the city buildings, and this is just the park and Presidio, stuff like that. And so you can also turn off photorealistic buildings, trees. You can play with those layers a little bit. Now, you can also create your own buildings and add them in. So if your hometown doesn't have a building that you want, or you want to make a model of your own house, you can do that with a program called Google Sketchup. SKETCHUP. Google Sketchup's a free application you can download and create 3D modeling and geo-reference it to a specific location in Google Earth, and then you can submit it to Google Earth for it to be added into the layers. They do have some restrictions about it, and I can show you how to do that. If you all are interested in me doing a video on how to create buildings in Google SketchUp or any kind of object, send me emails. If I get enough emails on that topic, then I'll do some videos on creating 3D buildings. It's really easy. 3D modeling for the rest of us is what it really is. Anyway, there's some 3D buildings. Go out on a virtual field tour, visit the Great Pyramids of Giza, visit Paris, visit London, visit Harrisonburg, Virginia, virtually. You don't have to leave the comfort of your own home or worry about lines at the airport or security problems or any of that nonsense. All right, enjoy.